What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackmine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punteri. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk or subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 6-4 with a victory over the Cincinnati Bengals in week 12, but there is plenty of news that comes with it at the most important position on the field. Aaron Rodgers is banged up with a broken wrist. What's to come? Where do the Steelers stand with their quarterback? And is he going to play against the Bears? Meanwhile, there's a new starting corner in Pittsburgh. We're going to dive into that. And Spitgate has taken over the NFL. We will share our remarks on what is happening between Jalen Ramsey, Jamar Chase, and what will likely come from the NFL. It's a good one here in the Berg. I think a lot of people are excited to see your face on this beautiful Monday afternoon. How you feeling, my friend? How you feeling?
Reporting live from Dunsville, USA. Feeling great. I said this on Friday. I would love nothing more than to show up on Monday, and have been so wrong with my prediction for this upcoming game. And look where we are. You're welcome, everybody. I'm doing good. Couldn't be more thrilled to be wrong because it just resulted in a Steelers win. Was I correct? No, not at all. And if you ask my wife, it is just one of a series of events that is very common to being Jacob Punteri. But I'm doing great, buddy. And hey, 6-4 Steelers. How can you complain?
You cannot complain. I think everybody was waiting to see what your reaction was. I read the text thread between us last night that started at 1:09, 9 minutes into the ball game, and said halfway to my score prediction, and then finished at about 6:15 that said I need a dunce cap for tomorrow, and I cannot find one. It's all right. It's good to be wrong, especially when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers and losing. They are 6-4. They do look impressive against the Bengals, but that is not the news of the day. The news of the day is Aaron Rodgers and what the Pittsburgh Steelers will have to do at quarterback if he is unable to play, This is where we are at today. According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, the Steelers quarterback is, quote, 50-50 to be on the field against the Chicago Bears. He wants to play. The Pittsburgh Steelers have to see if he's able to do things like grip a football and take a snap, which you think left broken wrist, okay, doesn't impact throwing the football, but it does impact holding on to the football. It does impact taking a snap from Zach Frazier, who's had snapping issues this season. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that we know wants to play against the Chicago Bears. We know wants that final revenge game. We know wants to go to a city that he has claimed he has owned for a long, long time and walk out of there with a win, one more. But at the same time, the Steelers have a reliable backup in Mason Rudolph. We have talked about this reliable backup in Mason Rudolph. That's the reason that they signed Mason Rudolph to begin with. He may get an opportunity here. And then there's the third part of this, which is maybe this is a glimpse into the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback position that they could take the opportunity to have today instead of waiting for the future. I'll start with the big question here. Do you think Aaron Rodgers plays on Sunday against Chicago? What's your outlook on how he'll treat this compared to kind of how the Steelers are going to treat this?
Well, I think there's no denying that he wants to be back on the field as quickly as possible. And I think if he's steering the ship, he's probably going to be back on the field. I have high doubts, many doubts as well, that Aaron Rodgers can be taken off of the field unless he just absolutely cannot go. If it is just an impossibility for him to, take a hit, or for him to possibly go down without protecting himself, then yeah, of course he can't play. Barring something like that, it just seems one final revenge game, one last time for him to go against the Chicago Bears. How does he not step onto that field? How does he not step onto that field and try to dominate one final time? I really think he's doing everything in his power to be on the field next Sunday. Contrarily, I think the Steelers, they probably want to do everything within their power to make sure he does not play against the Chicago Bears. And I think that was probably for the betterment of their team. I mean, you look
Yes.
at it and you probably say, do we want our 41, almost 42-year-old quarterback to really push it in week 12? Or do we want him to save that for week 17, week 18, wild card weekend, possibly be whatever the situation may be? I know which one I'm picking. And I think it's, for him to sit out in week 12. And I'm not sure where that's going to, where that intersection is going to meet and what comes of it. But, I think Aaron Rodgers wants to play, and the Steelers are probably like, we wish you didn't,
Yeah. I was told yesterday immediately after the game that Aaron was pushing so hard to go back in against the Bengals when the Steelers were winning and then winning by a lot. I mean, it did not feel like Mason Rudolph was on the field very long against Cincinnati because Kyle Duggar, James Pierre were doing the scoring. The Steelers offense was doing a lot of time on the bench. And Aaron was still the guy. Let me go out there. Let me go back out there. Let me go back out there. He wants to play against Chicago. He loves to rub it in that city's face that he owns them and he feels confident that he could do it again. And he wants that opportunity. But you're right. The Steelers have to be cautious about this. This is big picture viewing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is not a week by week situation anymore. This is, we are 6-4. We are in first place in the AFC North. One game means significantly less to us than the next 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever. And I get it. Me, you, and Billy Bob down the street could sit here and say all day long, the Steelers, they got to get to the playoffs first. But the Steelers are thinking, once we're there, what can we do? They have to be thinking big picture. They have to be thinking, put Aaron on the bench and leave Aaron on the bench for a game. I doubt they're going to make him active as that third quarterback, but if he's open to it, sure, why not? I look at it more and say, you prepared for this, and this is okay. Mason Rudolph is a very capable spot starter. I think Mason Rudolph's very capable, could probably win you 9 games in the NFL quarterback. I don't know if he's going to win you a Super Bowl, but he could probably win you 9 games in the regular season, and that's what the Steelers brought him in to do, is to be that guy, be that reliable backup. Now you get that. It's a no-brainer in my eyes to put Mason out there and just let him go, and hopefully you walk away winners. And I get it, Chicago looks good, but Chicago's offense looks good, and that relies a lot on your defense, and you might not be with Jalen Ramsey in this one, so maybe you're going to miss it anyways. To me, Mason is the easy answer. I'll also is there people are going to tell me no for this, but I'm telling you, there's a possibility it's a yes.
You're going to ask it, aren't you? You sicko.
Is there? No, it's not the Will Howard question. No, okay. I'm not going to say Will Howard's going to start. Well, unless you think Will Howard gets the opportunity. You think the Steelers pull a Mason Rudolph and do what they've done 90 times and say, we'll give the rookie quarterback a shot.
No way. I think it's Mason's team if Aaron can't go, and I think that is definitely the best way to move forward for at least for a week. Okay. But I mean, man, I think people are going to be knocking on the door I think these guys should play Will Howard.
Yeah, Will Howard. I was kind of hoping he got the last snap of the game, little victory formation. Do you look at this? Maybe I'm way off brand here or off base here, but I kind of feel this. Do you look at this as a possibility that the Steelers are getting a glimpse into their starting quarterback next season? Because if you get a week with Mason Rudolph, let's look at it. You go back 4 months. You go back 2 months ago, beginning of football season. Mason Rudolph is not in the plans. He is not a starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2026. Where we sit today, you're not looking good in the quarterback class. That's becoming very evident. You probably are not bringing Aaron Rodgers back. I mean, the guy's getting beat up now. He's running into sacks. He's not playing as well as he was 2 weeks ago. I mean, Aaron seems to be off the table here. Nobody in the city of Pittsburgh wants a Joe Flacco or anybody else. I mean, Will Howard versus Mason Rudolph does not seem so far-fetched right now as the quarterback competition for 2026. And if that's the case, you get a look. You get a look at Mason to see, hey, he's 29 years old. How far has he gone? I don't know. Maybe I'm nuts. I think that you get a glimpse of the future. I think you get an early look, and you should take advantage of it and say, is Mason good with this new offense and this new team? And last time Mason started, Matt Canada was his offensive coordinator. Let's remember that. This is a different situation. I'm not saying it's, Kyle Shanahan. This is not Andy Reid, but it's not me out there. You know, it's not my mom running the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, which was pretty much the equivalent. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of looking into the future here, a little bit of a look ahead to what's next.
I tell you what, man, I think it was maybe a week or two ago, we talked about the crazy quarterback carousel that is sure to ensue in Pittsburgh. And I just don't think it's a wild thing to say Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, some rookie draft pick are the three quarterbacks competing for the Pittsburgh Steelers job in 2026. So, I mean, listen, you got to go Mason here because it's another must win game against the Chicago Bears. He gives you the best chance versus Will Howard. But if he struggles and if Aaron Rodgers is, as much as we are hearing and it seems like he's trending towards playing rather quickly after suffering this injury, if anything sets him back and Mason Rudolph falters and struggles, I think you have a guy in Will Howard that they are not going to be afraid to turn to if the situation dictates it. I don't think they're just going to hand him the keys immediately. They want Mason to succeed, but things go south. National champion Will Howard, he's getting the keys. John Gruden's front row.
John Gruden is front row, and I think if Mason stinks by halftime, sure, you put Will Howard in. You say, hey, how good is he?
Sure.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you put him in there? I don't think you start him, but I also think that if you went into next season and it was Will versus Mason, Mason would have an upper hand in that competition. I'm not saying he'd win it. I'm saying he'd have an upper hand in the competition going into training camp until somebody tapped Mike Tomlin on the shoulder and said, just in case you forgot, that's Mason Rudolph. And then Mike would go, oh, my bad. Second string, put him back there. But let him go for the week. Let's just keep his hopes up, and then we'll crush them on Friday. I think that there's reason beyond an injury to see what you have in the backup quarterback here. And you never know. What's the craziest scenario in your head that tells you that Mason plays well enough that you have to bench Aaron Rodgers? You got to toss it out there.
Oh man, it has to be such a dominating win. He has to complete 75% plus of his passes, which I do believe he did in relief of Aaron Rodgers.
He did 12 to 16.
12 to 16. We call that a passing grade. And I think it'd have to be at least that, multiple touchdowns, and not 12 out of 16, right? We'd have to see 25 out of 30, something on a larger volume to see that he is controlling the game. But if he's able to do that, throw a couple of touchdowns, play turnover-free ball, I mean, you have to have the conversation, right? If this team is trying to win, I don't know. Maybe the 29-year-old spot starter gives you is the hot hand you ride for an extra week or two while Rodgers recovers. Maybe that's the conversation we're having in a week. I don't know. I think they're going to be very eager to turn it back to Aaron Rodgers after Mason Rudolph gets to start in Chicago. But, that's why you have your backup, is so just in case this happens, you can turn it over real quick.
I think 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and the Steelers win a nice little win here. Mason starts again in week 13. And I'm not saying that Aaron's hurt. I'm saying this is Justin Fields 2.0. Shout out to Justin Fields, who got benched today. This is Justin Fields 2.0, to where the Steelers are just gonna ride with him, and we're gonna see what happens. And then you're gonna let Aaron just heal and continue to heal and continue to heal. That's what we do. All right. Let's talk James Pierre here. Steelers have a new corner 1, my friend. Not corner 2, corner 1. Darius Slay shouldn't touch the field for the rest of the season. The rest is not a chance. Not until James Pierre doesn't do what he did on Sunday. And I only judge about the now, not the past. Right now, James Pierre is the best corner Steelers have, and that's nuts to say, but it's so true. Secondary looked so good. James Pierre had some moments. I'm not even talking about his front flip into the end zone. I'm talking about the deep ball to Jamar Chase that set things off, and the fact that, well, he played pretty good switching sides, which Steelers haven't done that in a while, switching sides with Joey Porter Jr. and not allowing the Steelers or the Bengals' 2 biggest names to do anything, because it's not just T. Higgins caught a touchdown over Jack Sawyer, not James Pierre's fault. James Pierre should not come off the field until proven otherwise.
No, You are absolutely correct. Pierre Island is here. Can't get off of it once you're stuck on it, and it's like it's unbelievable. This kid, 6th year in the league, best prospect in football. This kid's a gamer, and this guy just to be able to be called upon in that situation and to respond so positively and to do nothing but produce when the team needed it, you have to reward it. And I think if they were to turn back to Darius Slay, it would just be an admission of defeat. I think there is no room for Darius Slay as a quote unquote starter for the remainder of the season. He can come in relief, he can come in as a backup, whatever you need to do. It's nice to have a veteran playing a reserved role, in my opinion. But if James Pierre is going to provide this type of coverage, this type of play on the outside, opposite of Joey Porter Jr., how do you take this guy off the field? There's no excuse for it. They just don't have the secondary depth to justify it. So yeah, I think Pierre Island's here to stay until he gives up, a 100-yard game. If that happens, then you reevaluate.
Yeah, easy. Shout out to James Pierre, who proved me, probably everybody else wrong, that he is pretty valuable. And I don't know if it's going to last. I have no idea.
No.
What I do know is that I don't care. You're not going back to anything significant. You're not going back to a reliable corner. You're going back to Darius Slay, who's not played good at all. James Pierre looked just fine to me. And James Pierre is not the future by no means. And there will be questions out there about, hey, what, Asante Samuel Jr., where does he fit in? He fits in exactly where he was. And now you just have more corners with James Pierre proving he could be reliable. Do you think there's a real chance that the Steelers bench Darius Slay for James Pierre next week?
Yeah, I think there's a very serious chance. Again, it's not like this was a situation where, this guy came in and then, they got the kind of job done and you didn't really miss the guy that he was replacing, but it really wasn't about him. No, he was a difference maker against Cincinnati Bengals. He was a huge, huge piece of that victory. And I think we have not said that at any point about Darius Slay whenever he was on the field. At best, we are saying he looks decent. And as great as that can be in some situations, and it might be good in a limited role or in a reduced capacity, James Pierre greatly impacted and affected that game, and you have to keep him on the field. And I think he also elevated Joey Porter Jr.'s play on the outside, and you could tell that there was some energy in the secondary, something that they have lost. Even, with Jalen Ramsey leaving the game, they still had that sort of swagger to them for the remainder of the contest. And I think that is in part due to James Pierre bringing a ton of production to match that sort of energy as well. So yeah, if they move back to Slay, I would consider that to be a pivot that takes the team in the wrong direction.
Yes. And Mike Tomlin being stuck in his ways in a way that he owes nothing to. Luckily, history tells us that Mike T is not afraid to bench the old dudes. He's just not. Patrick Peterson, Levi Wallace, Akello Witherspoon, doesn't matter. If you are a vet, he will put you on the bench for James Pierre. He does not care. Shout out to James Pierre and Pierre Island that has emerged. Asked him what a gamer was last night. He said, guy who makes plays. I said, that's why Mike T's been calling you a gamer, dude, for the last 7 years of your life, because you're just out here making plays. Also, shout out to everybody who believed in Pierre Island enough to know that he was going to score a touchdown yesterday. You just felt in your bones that it was happening. Shout out my guy. All right. Now we got to talk about good old Spitgate here, because Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey got into it yesterday. Good old Jalen Ramsey gets kicked out of the game for punching Jamar Chase in the face, which we're going to talk about Jamar Chase denying it and Jalen Ramsey's reaction and so on and so forth. But I think what's even more important here is the fact that good old Jamar Chase even denied getting punched in the face, my friend. Getting punched in the face. He said, nah, I didn't get punched in the face. Or what he said, did you see me get punched in the face? Mm-hmm. Yes, Jamar. Everyone in the world watched you get punched right in the face by Jalen Ramsey. Jalen says he spit on him. Jamar says he didn't. I'm going to look up because our video didn't load for some reason. I'm going to look up the tweet so we can play the video. What's your thoughts on Spitgate, my friend?
What is this world coming to? Is my immediate reaction. This is like the second time this year. Was it not the earlier this season, the Jalen Carter and the Cowboys Spitgate stuff, or was that last season? Yeah.
Nope, that
So
was
like,
this season.
what is going on? You know, I love trash talking in football. I genuinely love hearing about it. It's one of the best parts about the sport in general, in my opinion. But when you take it beyond that, and when you take it to like, I don't know, man, I might just be a germaphobe too. You spit on me, I think I kill you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's the
for
grossest
sure.
thing
For
I've
sure.
ever. If you have a cold, I got it. I got your bumpies. You got, like, I don't like anything about that at all. That is disgusting. I can understand if he was spat upon, that I would just like, all bets are off. I can understand that that would be a reaction, and I really do not fault Jalen Ramsey at all for doing it. And I think Jamar Chase's reaction and comments post game, you know, I don't know, kind of seemed, I obviously don't know him that well, but it seemed to me like there was something going on, you know, and there was something, you know, they didn't want something on the field happened, you know, but man, I don't know about you, but I think that like spitting on someone is just like, unless you're in like a 1950s movie, you just don't do that, and there's no need for it ever. And if that's what actually transpired on the field, I wish Ramsey had been able to get him once or twice more.
Yeah, I agree. Let's listen to it, then I'll respond to good old Jamar Chase. If this is up, we got it. It's moving slow, but we got it. Don't even worry. It's coming. Maybe it's coming. StreamYard's a blast, man. Let me tell you.
StreamYard. Do better.
StreamYard's a good time. StreamYard's a good time. There it is. Let's get it rocking here.
He spit on me, so it's up. I don't give a fuck about football after that. Respectfully, I'm always gonna be all for trash talking, shit talking, stuff like that. I actually enjoy that part of the game. I think people know that. But and that's what we was doing. I mean, after the first one, the first little thing, the play before, he tried to like crack block me or whatever. You know, I mean, I got up off that, and then we got up talking shit or whatever, and he snatched my mouthpiece off my face mask, and that's when I mushed his face mask, and then we whatever. That was just a little scuffle. But the refs told us right there, like, "Hey, y'all chill, no more of this." Cool. So, you know, I'm knowing like, all right, no more, you know, just talk shit, but let's keep it clean so you know, everybody's thinking whatever. The next play, same shit. We was talking shit for which I'm cool with. And then, yeah, as soon as he spit, it was fuck that. It was, I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna tolerate that part of it.
Shout out to Jalen Ramsey, who
I love him, man.
Love him, dude. He could care less. 100% could care less. Here's my thoughts. To agree with you, I will teach my children, and I don't condone violence. Let's start with that one. I'm not around looking to be fighting people. It's just not my MO. My kids will most likely play sports, and I will tell them you cannot initiate a fight. That's not your thing. And honestly, if somebody smacks you, just walk away. You look like the tougher guy anyways. Somebody spits on you as a human being, I think James Harrison summed it up perfectly. I'd be in jail. You know what I mean? Like, what are you, the most my thing is this. It is the softest thing you can do as a human being is spit on somebody. Like the softest thing you can do is, and I mean soft as in like you are a soft human being. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like what are you doing? How did you? Go ahead.
There is only one scenario in which this changes everything. And you got siblings, Noah, so I know you probably, like, my brother and I used to wrestle and stuff and try to beat each other up when we were younger. If one of us did get the better of the other, we would try to see how far we could take a loogie down without actually hitting each other in the face.
Sure.
That's total. That, and now if he had done that to Jalen Ramsey, I think everyone just accepts it and lets it happen out of respect. That's just a way for men to settle things. In this case, that's not what happened at all. And it's like that wild. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're spot on. Just spot on. It's just another example of where the NFL has a trend going on that makes them look really soft, man. Like really soft. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey. I would, again, I don't condone violence. I'm not saying it's the right move. I don't know a single human being that my pacifist wife, you know what I mean? My wouldn't touch a fly, dude. Wouldn't touch a fly. Would probably smack him so hard his helmet would have spun around twice. You know, like that's where it is. Let's ask the important question. What do you think the outcome of this is? Do you think Jalen gets suspended? Do you think Jamar gets suspended? What do you think happens?
Man, I say this without actually knowing the previous like suspensions and comparables and things like
Jalen
that.
got one game. Jalen Carter got one game, but it wasn't a game. He didn't get suspended because it happened before a snap of that game. So he technically missed a game. Yeah.
I think you got, if you want to do this judiciously, at least by my account, you suspend them. You got to suspend them both. I think Jalen gets suspended for throwing a punch. If you do decide and conclude that he did spit on him purposefully, I think that is worth more of a suspension than, somebody throwing hands on another person. But, you got to at least suspend them both. And I think the league needs to be really diligent. And if they say that Jamar did not spit on them, I would love to hear an explanation as to how they came to that conclusion.
Yeah, me too. I knew he got spit on the second that he was waiting for us in the locker room to talk after the game, because he could have left. He could have left. He was waiting, and he so calmly, like even that was just like he used the F word like 12 times, and he still was so calm. And you could tell it was just him letting the world know this dude spit on me. You could clear as day see him spit on him. And I'll make sure that I'm not going down like this. He spit on me. That's what happened. And that's how you knew. That's how the second if the NFL says that he did not spit on him, the picture of Jamar Chase spitting on Jalen Ramsey will go nuts. Will go nuts. It's wild, dude. It's wild. I think it's a possibility both of them get suspended. Just because the NFL does stuff like that all the time. Yeah, and they're stupid. I think it should just be Jamar, and that Jalen he should get fined for punching. Again, stupid. But he should get fined for punching a man that spit on him. Mm-hmm. But he should not get suspended. And I think they both will when it's all said and done. Because just like you said, the NFL, stupid sometimes. Just really, really stupid. I had a thought that came into my head, and then it immediately vanished. And I don't know where it went. But shout out to
spinal confusion.
That's what it was. Speaking of the Jalen Ramsey interview, I was asked by a Steelers PR person afterwards. They were like, how did it go? Was it really bad? Because they couldn't hear it. And I said, yeah, I actually thought it was, it was pretty smooth. It was pretty good. He didn't say anything crazy. And 5 minutes later, she walks up to me. She goes, you didn't tell me that he cursed 1 billion times. I said, well, what you thought the reaction was going to be if he was just going to be like, yes, sir, he spit on my face, and in turn, I altercated with a to said helmet. Like, no.
After Jamar expectorated upon my helmet, I was forced to retaliate with my fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs. People in the chat are saying that that Jalen got in trouble already. I don't.
Because he was ejected? Like that, is that the logic?
Yeah, I think that's
sure
what we were looking for here. Just making sure. But no, that's not the only punishment that the NFL will hand down to him. Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. All right. With that said, Spitgate goes in the back seat for right now. We'll see what happens. That's everything on our agenda. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of it, we're going to start answering all your questions. So toss them in the chat. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind all Steelers talk comes Black and Gold apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
All righty. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Can't thank you guys enough. Before we get going, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. It does wonders for the channel, and we really can't thank you enough for everything that you do for us. We're going to start with Verdict. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. Verdict. It might be Mason, but Howard isn't. It might be Mason's turn, but Howard isn't nothing. I would lose my mind personally and be so excited if Will Howard took the field on Sunday. If the Steelers were like, we're actually going to compete Mason versus Will in this competition and see who plays against the Bears. You want to rile me up. You want to get me going. That's how you do it. It decreases the Steelers' chances of winning significantly because you're putting a rookie quarterback out there for the first time. You never know what's going to happen. And which I get it that you never know what's going to happen. Could be 7 touchdowns and a 50-0 win. That's a possibility, but you never know what's going to happen. And you have a backup in Mason. He's worked more with the offense, significantly more. A lot of things make sense. However, you want to get me going. You put good old Will Howard on that field. Easy.
Yes, I have to
Nope. Jamar Chase
that.
got
Yep,
suspended.
I was going to say, barring an appeal, he has a 1-game suspension.
1-game suspension. Nothing for Jalen Ramsey?
Nothing yet.
All righty. Shout out to Jamar Chase.
Spit on that.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
1 game. You think he appeals it?
Yeah. Dude, he said he didn't spit on him. He literally said, I didn't spit.
Open his mouth.
I didn't open my mouth. Man's got questionable responses to questions. Let me tell you.
That was a trolling answer. That's what I meant earlier. To say that as your response, I didn't open my mouth to him. Well, 1, false, because talking requires mouth to be open, air to come out. So we already got you there once. And then 2, you can see spit on 4K cameras.
Yes. Shout out to Jamar Chase, who has said the following things this season: that he's going to raw dog the Steelers. Shout out. That he didn't open his mouth. Now he's out here spitting on dudes. Didn't get punched when clearly got punched. I mean, shout out to Jamar Chase, man. If I was eating Skyline chili my whole life, I would probably lose my mind too. But this man is going insane. Somebody save him. Somebody get him out of Cincinnati because it's bad, man. It's bad. It's bad.
Oh, man. Yikes.
This is all within a month. This is 1 month. Losing is not fun, guys. Losing is not fun. And you turn into Jamar Chase if it happens. Shout out to Jamar. It might be Mason, but Howard's isn't nothing. I would love it, guys. I would love it so much. It would be awesome. It would be
I'm
awesome.
down for it. Won't be mad at all.
No, 0 part of me would be mad. Duffy Buckets, do I miss a... I don't know. I don't know what the word is. Duffy Buckets, let me know. Let me know what the word is, and we got it.
We'll come back.
Got it. Duffy Buckets, is A-Rod officially out versus Chicago? No. I would imagine that he practiced. I think if he's out there tomorrow, I wouldn't be stunned. I don't think he's got to practice at all this week, but I do think that he's got to take some sort of snaps because I think that's the question is, can he control a football It doesn't mean he's got to practice all week. It just means at some point he's got to go take a snap from Zach Frazier. At some point, that's what's got to happen. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Nate Moore, Slay to the Shadow Realm, Chase to jail, Jacob 2028. At some point you said something where the chat started talking about how they would vote for you for president. So
oh, nice.
Shout out.
I am not old enough yet, but 32. You can catch me in that one.
You have to be 32 to run for president?
Be 35.
35. You're 32 years old?
No. You have to vote for me in 32. I can't run.
Oh, I was like, what is happening? This is not true. Not
I'm a little guy. I'm 29.
Little baby boy. I was going to say.
Barely even out of school. 29.
small baby child. Small baby child. Duffy Buckets once again. Noah, I'm unsubbing. You didn't name the show when I emailed you last night. It was awesome. Shout out to Pierre Island, man. Nothing like Pierre Island. Couldn't do it, my friend. Chris, I was sure we were cooked. I am cautiously optimistic that Pierre, Samuel, Duggar, and Peppers might just be able to buy the front D guys time to cook. I do love what the Steelers are getting out there. I do love what the Steelers are getting out there on defense. And Kyle Duggar, man, that's a guy right there. Kyle Duggar's a guy.
Gamer.
Would you bring back Kyle Duggar right now? Would you put that on the possibility list for 2026?
I mean, yeah, he's playing very well. I can't imagine there is a very, deep market for safeties who are, about to be 30. I don't know how old he actually is, but I assume he's
20. He's 29. He'll be 30. He might just have turned 30. It was like 29 and 350 days or something when they acquired him.
Mm-hmm. Can't imagine the free agent markets knocking down his door, but if they can get him back on a very team friendly deal, absolutely. He looks extremely comfortable, and we see how that has paid off with that best game of the season for him, against the Bengals. So I'm all for it. And you don't know what's going to happen injury wise. Deshaun Elliott's battled injuries. Jalen Ramsey, who knows what happens after the season. Yeah, I think he's a good option to bring back.
I agree. I think he could be at bare minimum the perfect 3. If you need him to be a 2, you beat a 2 when you move Jalen Ramsey back. But I love Jalen Ramsey. I know there was a lot of pushback from Jalen. I could do more. Dude, you fit so well as a safety. He fits so well as a safety, and he plays it so well. Sir Kush Lord becomes a member. Shout out my guy. Make sure you're calling into the call-in show on Wednesdays. Smootest Buddhist. You know what, Jacob? I'll level with you. You were right about the offense sucking, but I did predict that we win by more than 10, right? Guess we were both right. Guess we were both right. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I was almost close to my prediction, which was 32 to 24, something like that, 21. You wrote it down, didn't you?
I did. Oh, I'm going to disappear. I'll find it.
Okay. And I felt pretty good. I felt pretty good about what was coming and what was happening. Oh, it's kept away. He kept this thing. There was no nothing happening with this thing. It was going to be here on Monday, one way or another.
Some idiot said 28-14. Don't know who that was. Unbelievable pick by that stupid person. You had 32. 20, 21?
21. You guessing on that one? Did you?
Either 21 or 27.
27 doesn't make sense. 21. Which,
I think I tried
close.
to write 28 and then wrote a big 1 over it.
I was close. Also, shout out to the under that I missed by half a point. Awesome.
That's pretty good.
Super awesome. Chris, I'm rooting for Rudolph to get some redemption. I'm telling you guys, I'm a Mason believer. I don't think Mason wins you a Super Bowl, but I think Mason Rudolph is one of the best backup quarterbacks you could have in the NFL. And you want to know what backup quarterbacks do? They give you a spark. And you want to know what teams do with that spark? They run with that spark as long as they can. And then the spark dies, and then you go back to the original guy. But in the meantime, it's a lot of fun, and that's where we're headed, guys. That is where we are headed. I'm a big Mason guy, man. I think the last time he was here, he had a terrible offensive coordinator. The only reason they didn't bring him back is because they got Russ and they weren't willing to give up on Kenny. Mason was there, but they've never looked at Mason as like a long-term starter. I love it, guys. I love it. What are you laughing at?
Just that they had faith in Kenny Pickett at one point. That's hilarious.
They did. That's
a fireable offense.
It was. It technically was. Smootest Buddhist. If I was Jalen Ramsey, I would have done the exact same thing. Not saying it was right, but neither was Jamar Chase for doing his best. I'm not going to say who it was, but somebody in the press box that you would know, Jacob, said we need to get Hawk Tua girl involved in this. And everybody there went, whoa, what are you doing? It's gross. Just gross, dude. On the day, you want to know how Hawk Tua girl brought herself into the Steelers world here? She was asked on Barstool Sports about Antonio Brown and had no idea who he was. Today, Antonio Brown pleads not guilty to a charge that could potentially give him 30 years in prison. And Hawk Tua is making her way back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The world is small, circular, and always moving, my friends. Always. Always just a little bit slippery. ND Joe, I could be wrong, but seems with Pierre out there, it has calmed JPJ a bit to the point where he hasn't been flagged as much. Just my opinion, but it looks like JPJ is playing more level-headed. I think the biggest thing is Darius Slay and Joey Porter didn't move. Like, they didn't change sides. They just played one side of the... I think Joey plays best when he moves. I've always thought that. Like, Joey's best season is his rookie year when he's trailing guys, playing both sides, getting involved, being able to readjust himself. Like, I don't think that that's the solve all to Joey Porter Jr., but I do think that it helps him. I do think that it keeps him less trapped in a box, and maybe he plays more freely when he's less trapped in a box. I don't know. That was my biggest takeaway from yesterday, was that those two were switching sides, and I think that's very productive for what Joey can do.
For sure. And it didn't seem like there was anything really different about his demeanor, the energy, like the trash talking was certainly there. Like, he had that I think it was on their first defensive drive. He had a pass breakup on Jamar Chase, and he was immediately giving him some lip service. And I think that same, that fire was always there with Joey Porter. But yeah, I think there's something to having him travel, like having him do so much that it just kind of frees him up from that sort of those mental lapses that sort of force him into those bad habits of being very handsy, to use Jamar Chase's words again. So yeah, I think James Pierre was a huge positive influence on the secondary yesterday, but JPJ specifically.
Yeah, I very much so agree. Bernard, how do y'all grade A-Rod's season overall? A B minus? I think a B.
Yeah.
I think a B. I think at times he's been an excellent game manager. At times he's been a little erratic. I think at times his accuracy has been off. But I also think at times he's throwing game-winning touchdowns to Calvin Austin and putting up 34 points against the Jets. So I would say flat-lined B, as even keel as it gets.
Yeah, he's been solid. I think it's the taste is a little sour right now, right? Because he didn't have his best performance against the Chargers, didn't get to fully redeem himself against Cincinnati. But no, I think, again, for a 41-year-old quarterback to come in here, first year with a new franchise, a ton of new pieces, very little familiarity with the staff around him as well. For him to come in here and, he was putting up really solid numbers before the Los Angeles Chargers game. I think B is a very accurate grade for Aaron Rodgers. He's been far from any of the big issues plaguing the team this year.
Yes, I very much so agree. And again, at times, especially as of late, has he been perfect? No, I don't even think he played well in this game, but I think overall he's had more positivity than negativity. Chris, guys, we need to get Washington, Jaylen Warren, and Kenneth Gainwell the ball more. I love watching them create in space. We are blessed and need to use them. There's going to be another question about Darnell, so I'll save the Darnell reaction. Jaylen Warren's a stud, okay? Anybody out there who denied this man running back one material before today, go away. Go away. Don't come back. Don't watch it here. Me personally. Jalen's a stud. Jaylen is such a his vision on the run where he goes underneath. The man ducked under 6 defenders, popped back up, and then decided, oh, it's open over here. I'm just going to go all the way back around the field. And if he doesn't try to hurdle somebody who's twice the size of him, maybe he scores a touchdown. I mean, he's so good. He's so good. And I love Kenny G, too. I think Kenny G is great. I think the Steelers are still not utilizing Jaylen the way that they should be. He needs way more touches, but now he's banged up, and I get it. Jaylen Warren's a stud, guys. He's absolute, like Jaylen Warren's an absolute starting running back. No questions asked. I don't want to hear otherwise.
Agreed. Dude's a stud. I'm glad that the Steelers are somewhat finding ways to get him the ball more, and they have to just keep doing it. Like he is their best weapon on offense. Can't stop it. I have one more Jamar Chase thing to add, and I'll stop talking about it and thinking about it. I do apologize, but do you know who is one of the people who could possibly hear an appeal? There's 3 people who cycle through it.
Yes.
Under the CBA, Jordy Nelson, who we all love, Derek Brooks, and former offensive lineman of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ramon Foster.
Oh, yeah. So he's getting suspended. Shout out. Yeah. Shout out to Jamar Chase, who has no chance, just walked into a very much so skewed jury here.
Don't know how that works in terms of like if they take turns deciding appeals, if it's a triumvirate of situation. I don't really know.
What do you think? What do you think his response is? Like, nah, I didn't do it. Jamar, there's video evidence. Nah, didn't do it.
AI is crazy these days. You can do anything, you know. Deep fakes. They're crazy.
Deep fakes. They're nuts. They're nuts. Max, Duggar has been a wonderful addition. Solid for sure. Kyle Duggar is such a crucial piece to the Steelers secondary. Shout out to Juan Thornhill, who just got picked up by the Jaguars today. I think Kyle Duggar is fitting in perfectly. I think what he does with Jaylen as they alternate who goes deep and who goes up is exactly what the Steelers have needed. There's no rotating. They're both capable of doing everything. Like Kyle Duggar to me feels like he's the first guy all season that has filled that role that doesn't feel like, outside of Deshaun Elliott, obviously, and Jaylen, who has filled that role and doesn't feel like a misfit toy that you just plugged in there. You know, like he's an actual starter in the NFL and he's capable of producing starter quality reps for you at the position. He's the first one all season I feel that way about.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's not, you're not saying, oh yeah, he can give you this, but you know, the problem is he can't really come in on X, Y, and Z. You know, you can bring him in on running plays, but if you have to have mountain coverage, you're screwed. That's just not the case at all with him. He has come in and been in every down. Safety, great in pass coverage, great at stopping the run. Really a strong deadline addition pickup by Omar Khan. And I imagine, you know, this was a player that Mike Tomlin was very keen on them acquiring. So a little credit to Mikey T too.
Yes. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. Shout out to the New England Patriots for saying, we don't want him. We don't want him. Egyptian Cobb salad. I know that picture anywhere. I said this before. Mount Washington is a cheat code and saw first images of the Cobb salad. I'm liking Kenny G a lot. Way to just toss in Kenny G at the end. Shout out my guy with the little side salad coming. Super excited. Shout out to Mount Washington. Darnell's freakish runs yesterday. Freakish runs were so awesome. And I mean, if Kyle Duggar doesn't take one to the house, Darnell's 30-yard play that resulted in like just a first down is the most exciting play potentially of the whole NFL weekend because of how awesome it was. He's a stud. You wrote about him today. I'll give you the floor on him.
I just think I don't think it would be hyperbole to say that a star could be emerging for the Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to Darnell Washington. I just think they are finding out exactly how to utilize him, and I think there is still so much more production-wise to get out of him now that they've sort of untapped this sort of resource for them. He's an excellent pass catcher. He's an excellent route runner, especially given his size, and he doesn't sacrifice any quality in terms of the run game. He is only an asset, and he is only becoming more and more trusted for Aaron Rodgers and, for Mason Rudolph as well. So it's incredible to see the progress that he has made from just sort of extra blocker along the line of scrimmage and running plays to someone who is now an emerging threat that other defenses have to account for. He was, there were a lot of standout moments against the Bengals, but I think him not once but twice, having these big yards after catch plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers was just huge to see. I think he really could be the star of this tight end group, and I think it gives them a lot of clarity moving forward as to who they should prioritize and who they don't necessarily have to at that position.
Yeah, him and Pat Freiermuth, they're such a great 1-2 punch. And I don't hate the addition of Jonnu Smith. I really don't, even if he's not getting involved. But him and Pat are such a great 1-2 punch that it's just it's all you need. It's all you're looking for. Shout out to Egyptian Cobb Salad. Chase is suspended. Shout out Jamar Chase, dude. Shout out Jamar Chase. I can tell you this. Anybody who's got Joe Burrow sitting on their fantasy bench going, this is the week. It's not anymore. It's not. It's officially done. And I would drop him immediately. Leroy, Pierre Porter, Asante Samuel Jr., Jalen Duggar, Elliot Castro, coached correctly, might be the scariest secondary in years to come. When does MVS debut? It's so nuts because, that's a pretty decent secondary. Don't get me wrong. If the Steelers go into 2026 and James Pierre is their starting corner, fire everybody. Fire the whole staff. Fire the whole staff. You want him to come off the bench? Great.
Yeah.
Sign somebody else. But that's fun. It's a fun group. It's a fun group for sure.
Oh, dying, man.
For sure.
They need a star corner. They need that lockdown guy. No doubt about it. Can I tell you my fear developing with MVS?
Yes.
I think he might have MWS.
Yeah,
Mike Williams syndrome.
Yeah,
I think that could be, It just seemed like there was a very easy opportunity to get him in, and it seemed like they had a very easy path. And I don't know. I felt a little bit discouraged, I guess, at the last practice I was at for the team. It just doesn't, I don't know if they have big plans for him. And I don't, and that could be getting on the moving train still. I don't really know, but doesn't seem like it. Seems like he might not be playing anytime soon.
No, I don't think he is. I think Calvin Austin is quickly becoming part of Mike Tomlin's doghouse, which is not good. And that brings us to Nate, because Jacob's favorite receiver had some good separation on a couple of routes. He might be not that bad. I think, I don't know if you saw the snap count yesterday, but
find it.
Roman outsnapped Calvin Austin on offense.
No way.
And it starts to look like the Steelers' new wide receiver 2 is number 10, not number 19. And I think that's the shift that the Steelers needed. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Do I think that Roman's this fantastic wide receiver? I'm not going to sit here and say yes. I'm also not going to sit here and say no. I'm going to say he hasn't looked like it so far. But there's no part of me that hates him emerging into the number 2, if he's earning it. And the Steelers are clearly making him earn it. But he outsnapped him yesterday. And I think that's the reason MVS isn't getting called up right now, is because the Steelers, they feel their number 2's already there. Maybe number 10. Just saying.
It's a number 12.
Not good.
Not great. Good. But if you have Darnell Washington, let me level with you for a second. That's, there's your secondary option that feels like a real threat if you're going to continue to find ways to utilize him and not just sort of go back to the well of just dumping off the ball to him in the flat and seeing what this big old body does. I think they have a a good chance to continue to progress offensively despite not having a clear wide receiver too. If that means Roman Wilson continues to get more snaps, fine. I think Calvin Austin is being permanently relegated to punt returner /
maybe not after yesterday. Maybe not
where
after
do you go
yesterday.
next? That's a good question. Where do you go next from that?
Look at if Scotty Miller's not going to do anything else, you might as well put him back there and tell him catch the football. And when you don't catch the football, you don't catch it on the 4-yard line when it's literally speeding into the end zone. It will be 11. It would have been on the back of the end zone before anybody got to the 5-yard line. Calvin went, no, let's get it. I don't want to let that one go here. We got an opportunity. It just, I don't know where you go next. Venturi's broken furnace. Going up early in the game and having the defense finish it is the recipe I like to see for the Steelers to win games. Let's see if it can continue. I hope it does. I hope everybody thinks it does. Chicago's a good test. Cincinnati's not a good test. I'm excited to see what Chicago does, but I'll rock the wave. I will jump on that wave and feel good for a couple of days because it feels good to feel good. And we're going to keep it riding. Maddie, hear me out, boys. Why don't we see what we have in Will Howard now? Mason is a certified backup at best and is good for a few games. Chicago has no tape on Will, so they would have to guess. What's your thoughts?
I mean, do they not have tape on him? They have his college tape.
Yeah, but
they know
there's
what
not
he's
many
like in
NFL
practice.
teams that use college tape.
I don't think that would necessarily provide a secret weapon for the Steelers.
No.
I listen. I'm not like, I don't care if you don't have Aaron Rodgers. I don't really care who the quarterback is, right? Like, you can play Mason. If you tell me you're going with Will Howard, I'm like, okay, fine. You're going with the rookie. Like, I don't know if that's the right choice, but like, I don't have a big objection because the alternative is Mason. So it's like, that's fine. But I don't think the Chicago Bears would be at any disadvantage if the Steelers were to go with the rookie over Mason Rudolph. Do you feel differently?
I think it's a massive disadvantage. I just think that Mason is a guy that could get you 2-3 starts, and you could count on those 2-3 starts. Like, I think that's what you're getting in Mason. I think Will Howard's a total shot in the dark that has practiced for 2 weeks this season. 2 weeks for the last 4 months. Like, there's just not enough there. Again, I'm all for starting Will Howard. You want to start Will Howard? All Steelers talk firmly supports the decision by the Pittsburgh Steelers, only because it's way more fun to see what you got in the future than what you got in Mason Rudolph. So I'm fine with that. You want to go test out a rookie and give all us something to talk about and something to watch for a week to see if he's any good or not. Great. But if you're asking me, you view this as a must win to keep the AFC North alive and to move to 7-4 and hopefully create some separation with the Baltimore Ravens, then no, I think Will Howard's a crazy idea to put out there in week 12 to say, we're going to trust the rookie who's practiced for 3 weeks to give us a lead against a good Bears team. No. But again, I'm all for it. To the fun side of things, the screw it. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, I'd have a blast. But I don't think that I think logically, no matter who the rookie is, tossing somebody out there who's never played in the NFL, who's only got 3 weeks of practice under their belt and expecting a win, I mean, like, your chances go significantly down. You look like you got thoughts on that. Maybe disagree.
I mean, no, I don't disagree. Like, Mason Rudolph is clearly the better choice to get some wins in the interim. I just don't think it's like, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be terrible if they opt to go for Will Howard because things are just not great anyways, right? Like, it's not like the offense is this, this slick, well-oiled machine. Like, can he keep things going? Can this 30th ranked running offense keep things going? You know what I mean? Under Will Howard, like, what do you have to even do? You just got to kind of line up, say hike. So I don't think there's a ton of pressure if they choose to go that route. Again, they need to win games. You got to choose Mason.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't critique it too much at this point if they were to go a different route.
I would
And
have
Mason
a
wouldn't be
blast.
surprised either because
No,
you should be expecting this. You should be expecting this.
Yeah, he's already sitting home. He's going, everybody's like, Mason, you excited? You're probably going to start this week. And he's looking at, I'm not starting. I'm not starting this week. Like, I already know one way or another, I'm not starting this week. Smootest Buddhist, by the way, I'll be at Chicago at the game in Chicago next week. Shout out my guy. I'm still deciding on whether or not I'll be in Chicago. I'm watching those flights every day. Some days it's a yes, some days it's a no. Mark Caboli has me nervous. Anybody knows what part of Chicago you should not stay in? Let me know, because good old Mark Kaboom Caboli thinks it's the entire city of Chicago. So every time I say, hey, I'm staying here, I'm like, oh, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? I hope we both stay at the same hotel so that at least if something does pop off, you know what I mean? They're always going to Kaboom before me, you know? Egyptian Cobb Salad, got a tough one for you. Build the ultimate defense time. I can email you mine, and it scares me. Oh, man, dude. This is a big one. In Pittsburgh, we'll go Pittsburgh Legends. I mean,
we can do that pretty quick, huh?
Pretty quick, I feel like. You go the defensive line, not including outside linebackers, Mean Joe Green, Casey Hampton.
Who
you going out on the other one? You going Cam? You going Greenwood?
You got Cam, you got Greenwood, you got Kevin Green, you got, I mean,
would Kevin Green be considered a defensive tackle though?
I guess
he's
outside
linebacker,
edge rusher, huh?
Yeah. I think Cam would be up there. I think Greenwood would be my pick. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. But I think either one of those, let's say the other ones are reserve. Edge rushers, I think it's TJ Watt. If you're going 3 because you need a backup, TJ Watt, Kevin Green starting on the outside, and then James Harrison off the bench. Unless you feel different.
That's disgustingly nasty. I love it. Yep.
Inside linebackers, Jack Lambert, obviously. James Farrior. Is your number 2?
Ooh. James Farrior, I think, is a pretty great pick. I mean, are we? Yeah. I
think James is up there. Yeah. All right. You got another name? I feel like you're looking at something.
I was gonna say Larry Foote, but I don't know if that's like all,
maybe coming off the bench. Yeah.
So many good picks on defense. It's crazy.
I could tell you're scanning it. Corners here. Who you classify? Mel Blount. Obviously.
Mel Blount's easy first pick. Now you taking Rod Woodson. Now are you taking? What are you doing here?
I feel like if we're classifying Rod Woodson as a corner, then yes, because he played corner in Pittsburgh. Then he played safety.
Right.
I would say if it's Rod Woodson, I go Rod Woodson, easy. And then at safety, I'd go Troy. And to be honest with you, I don't hate the idea of Jalen Ramsey back there either.
I think that's, I mean, like who else are you going to put back there?
I kind of don't like, I don't mind Jalen as
that's not a good comment. Carnell Lake's a great option.
Carnell Lake as a safety, toss him back there and then make Jalen the slot. I kind of love that a little bit.
You know what we're not even talking about right now is Hall of Fame safety, Jack Butler.
Jack Butler, shout out to Jack.
Which I only know because I know his grandson. And that's
all right, there you go.
I'm like,
there you go.
Yeah. That dude's a Hall of Famer. He had a bunch of interceptions in like the 40s or 50s or something like that.
Hey, dude, Rocky Blyer is
Blyer.
No, more Steelers fans know Rocky Blyer than anybody else, and that guy played before 90% of us were alive. Shout out to that absolute legend. He fought in a war. And he fought in a war. There it is. It's a good defense. Carboon won't get talked about as much because we won, but those refs were bad for both sides. Yeah, they were awful. The refs this season stink. I don't know if anybody watched Sunday Night Football, but I mean, why are we ending games with? I don't think there's anything you could do about it, but why are we ending games with bad calls? You know, why is that a thing? It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, the refs were both sides of the football. The refs were awful yesterday. Awful. Smootest, avoid the south side. Shout out my guy. I was trying to listen to Kanye. Figured he would have had the answers for me, but he just kept saying Chicago, and I couldn't tell where. Chris, rewatched the game. Rudolph didn't look nearly as good as the pundits were proclaiming this morning. No, I don't think anybody who's sitting around going Mason Rudolph's at 3-yard passes were fantastic is just saying that because they're looking at a stat line. Like, Mason didn't look bad at all. It's not like the offense looked any different with him and not him, though. Like, that's my takeaway, is that the offense looked exactly the same. And that's what you're looking for in a backup quarterback is, can this guy come in here and everything just stays as it was? Yep. Get him in here. Sign him today. You know what I mean? That's what a backup quarterback's job is. And I think he did that exactly how he was supposed to do it yesterday.
Agreed. Well said. Well said.
Duffy Buckets.
Duffy Buckets, you mean this for us?
I want to know who this is. I feel like you would be the hottest for obvious reasons, but unfortunately you have the same name as my mom. I want to know.
I would be.
IK lady, offense. No offense. No offense. Oh man, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Shout out to Duffy Buckets, man. Shooting a shot in the chat. That's my guy right here. It's my guy. Shout out to Duffy Buckets, man. Shout out to Duffy Buckets.
Swish.
Rats, do you guys think that Mason could turn into Sam Darnold and just needed time to mature and a real chance? I'm not ready to get too ahead of the game here. I'm ready to take it one moment at a time here. Did we not mention Troy Polamalu in the thing? Because there are a lot of people saying Troy. We definitely, like, Troy was, I feel maybe was just
because he's obviously a part of it.
Yeah, like, I think Troy was just implied. If it didn't come out of our mouths, it was implied that Troy was the other safety. Oh, yeah, he was the first one added to the he was the first one added to the defense immediately. So that's on us. I'm no. The answer to this is no. Like, at least for me. I like Mason, big Mason guy. Not ready to do that yet. I'm just not ready to sit here and deem him the guy. Not yet. Definitely not yet. What's
his career record?
It's winning. Like, it's a winning record.
Wow.
Yeah. He I could tell you right now. He's got a tie, obviously, to the Lions, which is, take that as you will.
9-8-1.
9-8-1. 9-8-1. Yeah, dude. And half of those games came with Juju Smith-Schuster and a bunch of nobodies catching the football from him with an awful offensive line the year that him and Duck Hodges just kept, or I guess it wasn't an awful offensive line, but, just a bunch of chaos after Ben blew his elbow out. So, and then the other half of it came with Matt Canada as offensive coordinator. So I'm a big Mason guy. I think Mason's a phenomenal backup quarterback. I just don't know if he's going to turn in. But I think Sam Darnold's like a shot in the dark, And we still don't even know if Sam Darnold's going to be good. Looks good right now. I get it. Geno Smith looked good for a year too.
Yeah. Why are people so afraid to just be good at a certain role? You know what I mean? Like, what if Mason Rudolph doesn't even want to be a long-term starter? He knows he can just make a bunch of money, be real comfortable forever. I just don't understand. Not everyone wants to be the boss of everything. Sometimes people just want to come in here and be a backup. Charlie Batch, I think, has the greatest NFL career ever. Starter for a bit, then plays about 4 games over the next decade, makes millions. Dude's got the greatest life ever. You know what I mean? Like that. We don't let him be. He's a backup, and he's a great backup. He's just not a starting quarterback.
I don't think he is either. Not in Pittsburgh, at least. And I feel good about his position. Schuyler, someone asked why the clock stopped with DK out of bounds yesterday. It's because the clock only stops the last 5 minutes of each half. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate you, Schuyler. I could not think of that last night at all, but sometimes I'm just chilling. Sometimes I got nothing going on in the brain. King, if you see this, hear me out. Imagine Will comes in and dimes up Chicago, and Aaron says, I don't even have to play. My student owns you now. Absolute cinema. Would be awesome.
Like an Obi-Wan Kenobi, like sort of like puts his hood up and it's like he has become the master now. And just fades away.
Eddie, overreaction, but did the offense look young and fast with Mason at quarterback? Did he look better than Rodgers? No, I think he looked the same as Rodgers. I don't think Rodgers looked that great, though, to be honest. Like, I think Rodgers was getting himself into some trouble here. Wasn't super accurate, but I don't think Rodgers looked bad. I don't think the offense looked any different the whole game. No different at all.
I think that's where I'm settling to. It didn't seem too different. I think the offense got a nice little jolt to like, hey, we got our backup in. We're going to make sure we all, pull together and do our part, rally around our guy. But yeah, I mean, they still were playing, another man down and Jalen Warren not coming back. And so I think it was pretty status quo from one quarterback to another, but that's not a bad thing. I don't say that critically.
Again, that's exactly what you're looking for. Tyrone, Jay Ramsey won't get suspended, right? Nope. Should be good if there's no suspension right now. Carl Spackler, serious question: who/what could stop a running start? Darnell leaping over or at the goal line. I feel that could be even better than a tush push. Dude, after yesterday, just put direct snap to Darnell and tell him to run straight. And honestly, I would run that every single play until he broke his body in half, and you'd probably win a Super Bowl. Like, if he could last a year, you probably win a Super Bowl. Like, unreal, that guy. And Zach Fraser's back smoked because he's getting run into by Darnell every time. But my gosh, Darnell was awesome. Shout out to Darnell Washington. Nate Moore, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm good. What did Nate have to say?
Nate Moore, hot take, maybe. Even though we aren't getting much value out of Jonnu Smith, we won the Minka trade, because of how Ramsey has been for us. Yeah, I 100% agree. You got a 5th round, or you gave up a 5th round pick for Jonnu. I'm not upset about a 5th round pick for Jonnu. I think you could. He's signed for another year. I think you could get it back next year if you really want to. But the Jalen for Minka straight up is a win. Definitely a win.
100%.
Rats, why isn't Peppers playing? I just honestly don't think that they need another safety out there right now. But I don't know why he didn't play over Chuck Clark. I think they just like Chuck Clark more. They have more confidence in him. Not saying it makes sense. Just kind of feels like the reasoning behind it.
I wonder how 100% or how close to 100% healthy he is coming off of, I think it's a quad injury he's been recovering from, and kept him out of a couple of games. Could be a part of it. And they're like, Chuck's here, great. So great. Hopefully he plays more down the stretch, because I would much prefer him as a depth rotational player than Chuck Clark.
Yes, for sure. Poolside, shout out my guy. Is there, first off, I need the name of your business. Toss it into the call-in show tomorrow or on Wednesday. I got to know. We got to plug it. Is there not even a confirmed injury on what exactly the injury is for Rodgers? As of right now, it's considered a bone break in his left wrist. Don't know what bone. Feels like there's only one of them in there, but I don't know. Two big ones. Rats, is Miles Killebrew coming back? Nope, he's out for the season. Believe it's a pretty significant knee injury. Ryan, hey Jacob, has the Dynasty started? Shout out to Shadar Sanders yesterday, who looked terrible. And the Browns be the Browns, man. The Browns be the Browns.
He's so shabad. It's crazy.
He's so shabad.
Oh man, it's just all the talk all year of like, is Cleveland like kind of doing him dirty? Like, not got all these other quarterbacks in here. Why aren't they giving him the number 2 spot on the depth chart? Blah blah blah. It's because he's shabad at football, and that's gonna always on the field. It's gonna play out that way. So I just think it's entertaining. I'd love to have the chaos around. No, I'm lying, but I love hearing about the chaos, and
I don't
that's
want the
that's
chaos.
all I'll say about that.
Sure, that's all you'll say about Shadat. Carl, why didn't y'all watch the video of Chase spitting on Ramsey's close up in slow mo, clear as day? Just because we had a lot of people ask this during the live stream. It's because the NFL owns the rights to that. So the second that we played it on here, this video will get taken down for copyright. So we can't do that, unfortunately. And we'll finish it off with Leroy. It's crazy to think our odds of a playoff run went up, then down with the Chiefs losing last night, but the Bills winning. The Chiefs still remain the favorite at 5-5. The Chiefs are the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. The Ravens are still the favorite to win the AFC North, and the NFL remains drunk. And I will say that yesterday, the Bills, the Chargers, the Chiefs, everybody, even the Titans almost beating the Houston Texans. The NFL is still very much so alive, and chaos could happen. Not saying the Steelers are a Super Bowl team. I'm saying that the NFL is still very much so alive and chaos can happen. And this is the deepest in a long time that you could look at the NFL and say, I have no idea what's going on or who the best team is. And might as well enjoy the ride while we're here and on it. And Mason Rudolph may be steering the train right now. That ship's still floating. That ship is still floating. Shout out to
It's
Leroy.
wide open. Wide open.
Shout out to Leroy. All right, guys. With that said, we're heading out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. Hit that like button as you head out of here. Can't thank you enough for that one. And we will be back tomorrow. Enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.